Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a new episode of Flesh Wound Farce. This is the world's first and only combination trivia host and professional wrestling announcer of Chilean descent that currently resides in Southern California, Ozzy V. And with me, as always, on this program is first in the Northern Bay Area, Greg. How you doing, Greg?
Good, man. As you can hear, the train has come in for the holidays. I'm excited for everything going on, and it was a pleasure to watch Scrooged. How are you doing, Ozzy?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm not going to go into a huge thing about it, but I won my fantasy football semifinal matchup, so going on to the championship next week, and I'm going for back-to-back championships if I win next week. Back-to-back. But other than that, did enjoy Scrooge. Of course, we're going to have a commercial, but before we move on, first, foremost, can't forget Flesh Wound producer Todd.
What's up?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, do I got to look at you again? It's bad.
You don't have to.
You didn't even comb your hair.
That's silent anger, in case anybody's listening to the audio.
He cries, too, when he goes off air.
All right, you know what? This show isn't Flesh Wound Ozzy's hair. My hair is not the topic of the show. What the topic of the show is farce, because we review your favorite and our favorite comedies, discuss them as well. And also, we had a new segment recently introduced where we rip apart, stupidly, a commercial. This week's commercial is a State Farm commercial that's been around for a while, featuring Jake from State Farm and Super Bowl MVP, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. Todd, if you don't mind, please roll the commercial.
Hey, man, I really appreciate that Patrick price on my insurance, Jake from State Farm. Being a champ has its perks.
Here's the deal, Patrick. State Farm offers everyone surprisingly great rates.
Let me repay the favor with some field passes. Come on.
No favors, just great rates.
Okay, fine. I'll let you wear the ring, but only for a day.
When you want the real deal, like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
All right. I know I'm not supposed to touch my face, but here's what really irks me about this, and I apologize, I'm just going to jump in here. Unless you guys want to provide an appetizer comment before the main course, because I've had months of just repeatedly frustration.
You know, I just have to say, like, I've been watching far too much Animaniacs since it's been re-released. So, like, part of me really wanted, like, a mini Travis Kelce to be jumping up and grabbing the bags from his hole.
And sorry, just to clarify, anybody listening to the audio version, this is a State Farm insurance agent with Patrick Mahomes, and Patrick Mahomes is no-look tossing cornhole bags into the bullseye. And Todd, anything on here before I move on?
No, go for it.
Okay, so check this out.
I'm excited to hear your thoughts.
Well, yeah, so audio version may not have been able to hear that this new Jake from State Farm, when they asked him to come to the commercial, I guess they asked him to just bring his own wardrobe, because on one side of the screen, you have Super Bowl MVP, NFL quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, a championship caliber athlete, right? And Jake from State Farm shows up with a t-shirt that makes his arms look bigger than Patrick Mahomes' head. And like, and what's weird is that he can't even, it doesn't even look like, you know, he can put his arms down. I don't know if you guys remember the Louis Anderson animated show that was on Fox a long time ago. And one of the funny things about his character is that his arms were always out. And there was one episode where the cops showed up and they said, you can put your arms down. He's like, they're down. You know, and they're picking outward. But it kind of reminds me of this guy, because he's kind of like, he's just got this like massive frame and he's doing this thing. And the commercials have changed since then. You'll notice that now he'll be like wearing a sweater or something like that. But what also kind of makes me feel weird about the commercials, as a Raiders fan, I constantly see Patrick Mahomes picking apart the defense, because one of the reasons he gets paid is to read defenses at the line, make a change audible to something else to allow him to throw an 80-yard touchdown. That's how he makes his money. And this guy is telling him, hey, you don't have your own rate, but the quarterback completely ignores this and goes on his day. No, I'm going to solve more difficult things rather than continuing to invite this guy because he gave me a rate, even though he's telling me I didn't give him a rate. So
one flaw in your issue there, and
Sorry?
I'm sorry to bring it up and call you out, but it's not just Patrick Mahomes who can pick apart the Raiders defense. So,
my previous point, I mean, the point still stands because there's also these commercials with Aaron Rodgers, who one of the, Hall of Fame, godlike, like the most, I think, half man, half god. When you talk to any analyst, that's what you think Aaron Rodgers is, whatever, that's cool, but don't portray him to be an idiot on an insurance commercial. Because, I mean, he looks like an idiot in the State Farm commercial by blatantly ignoring these comments. So that was the commercial. By the way, if you have any commercials that you happen to spot, let us know, because I mean, I got a ton of these that I always have some sort of mini rant towards. We'll have a new one next week. But moving on to the main course is our review of Scrooged. Now, this film, Scrooged, directed by Richard Donner, screenplay by Michael O'Donoghue and Mitch Glazer, also featuring musical score by Danny Elfman in the most Danny Elfman he's ever been. Now, what's funny is when we talked about this before, Todd was saying he didn't catch that it was Danny Elfman, and I'm thinking to myself, oh, this is vintage Danny Elfman. So we're on opposite sides of the spectrum. Greg, at what point did you think, did that not even register? Did it not matter? It's like, oh, the music's cool.
Oh, I enjoyed the music. Not until you brought it up did I think, oh, it's Danny Elfman.
Maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me.
But I don't pay attention to that either. I just kind of let the movie kind of watch over me. So
I can't.
Yeah, and I do. That's what's weird. I mean, and his music is like the same 5 notes over and over in different keys. So I don't know how I didn't do it. I actually want to go back and see if it comes up. Maybe because it was a little more Christmassy than his normal dun 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 stuff. Yeah. I don't know.
Anytime that there's a creepy, what sounds like a creepy children's chorus, that's one of the red flags in my head that tells me it's. And I shouldn't say red flags. I enjoy usually a Danny Elfman score, but a chorusy kind of thing happens. I also think the original or the Sam Raimi Spider-Man in that intro when that was maybe it was Spider-Man 2. But so moving on, it wasn't just Danny Elfman, starring Bill Murray as Frank Cross. Now, this movie is a modern take on Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol, where, as mentioned, Frank Cross, played by Bill Murray, is a wildly successful television executive whose cold ambition and curmudgeony nature has driven away the love of his life, Claire Phillips, played by Karen Allen. But after firing a staff member, Elliot Loudermilk, played by Bobcat Goldthwait, on Christmas Eve, Frank is visited by a series of ghosts who give him a chance to reevaluate his actions and right the wrongs of his past. Like it says, it is basically a version of A Christmas Carol, obviously with a twist. And one of the things that I think stood out to me, and I couldn't confirm this, but I would love to know how much improvisation Bill Murray had, or how much he changed things. One of the things in the very beginning when he has to end up working late because his boss, they need something done. And he tells his assistant, no, if I got to work late, you're working late. She mentions that she has a doctor's appointment for her kid. And he just yells, I care. Oh man. I think I have a strong feeling in the script, it was written I don't care you're working late, but because that seemed like such a natural hit, a response, Bill Murray did such a fantastic job being a prick, and it sets it up so well. So when it sets up for the sweet part of him, you can see that contrast. And, Bill Murray, I think, is more than just a talented comedic actor. He's a very talented actor in general. And it was so much fun watching, I think, some of these improvised lines where there's one scene where he's like almost in a frozen sewer, and he's just looking around and says, "Am I in Trump Tower?" Like I think that had to have been like improvised, because I don't see that being like in the script. Just those are my initial thoughts on it. What about you guys?
Well, real quick, in all the connections, you have Trump, you have the fake Trump from Gremlins 2 in this.
No,
And are you wearing that shirt because of Karen Allen's in this?
I did not.
And
Maybe subconsciously I did. I didn't even realize it.
okay, and the last thing is, you might be right about the
Improvisation.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Because Bill Murray and Richard Donner did not get along on set.
Really?
He was once asked if there was any disagreements, and his response was only a few every single minute of the day. So
yeah, and Bill Murray had a hell of a time on the set. He had an allergic reaction to the snow, and then also the scene where his lip is grabbed. Apparently, like it like ripped off part of his lip, like it tore part of it, and
I think the thing inside your mouth, whatever it's called, that connects.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So he had a rough time on that shoot.
Huh.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if that fueled his performance, as you know, in the angry parts.
Well, what's funny is part of the anger he had was because he didn't feel the character should be as loud as the director wanted him. Like, he wanted everything to be over the top, which honestly I did feel in the beginning. I was like, Bill Murray's normally really good about his timing of his anger, because he does have the loud moments that come out. But in the beginning, it really did feel a little forced at times. I was like, gosh, I know there was a gap, like a 4-year gap of him doing Ghostbusters, and then this was his next movie, which is interesting, going from ghost to ghost. But yeah, like I was like, is his timing off? But then when I looked into it and I found out he was having issues with the director, and he was being kind of forced to do that, I was like, oh, that makes a lot more sense, because Bill's really good with his timing. So
he definitely has a strength with subtle comedy.
Mhm.
Does such a great job at it, and he knows, like, if he feels there's a point to get loud, like, he'll build it up well. Like in the particular scene when they're hammering and he's trying to talk to his love Claire, right? And it's like, could you stop the hammering? And then finally this lady, and that gets the phone call, and then just would you please, for the love of God, and stop the goddamn hammer, like, and like that build up. And I can imagine,
right,
I'm not confirmed with this, I can imagine a scenario where Donner might have wanted it at the top for each of those lines, when Murray thought, this will be better, and I'm only going to do this because this is the right way to do it.
right.
But yeah, and Todd, or were we going to move on? I'm sorry, I can't recall if you added in your initial thoughts.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know if I did. The shirt and everything, I got sidetracked.
That's true.
Oh no, I love this movie. I remember seeing it theatrically the day it came out. 22 shit. I don't want to do that math.
88. Yeah. 32 years ago.
Whew. But yeah,
I was 4.
I was 12, I think. I don't know. That's more math. No, yeah,
I'm just trying to make you feel older.
That's all right. It's not like doing this other show with Kruger where I'm old enough to be his father. Yeah, this is like it. I watch this one every year. It's just fun, and with all the tension and stuff on the set, it doesn't show because it's still a fun movie.
He owns it so well that you want to keep watching him, and it's just enough to the point to when you see him in his current state, that at the point that he starts to be visited by the ghosts, that it still feels fresh, so you didn't get tired of his character. Which, by the way, Todd, I think earlier you mentioned the fake Donald Trump with John Glover.
Yeah,
because in Gremlins 2 he played Daniel Clamp, which is supposed to play off on Donald Trump. So you had that mention. I want to make sure that was clarified. In terms of my favorite line of the film, it came on rather early. It was after he was visited by the initial ghost, his old boss, and he goes to the homeless shelter, and he's just talking to himself. And he just keeps going, and as he walks into the homeless shelter, they put a blanket over him, and they assume he's homeless because he's just ranting. As he was ranting, again, I'm guessing it was probably improvised, and I laughed for a good 60 seconds straight, just because it was just like a smooth transition into this whole thing. And then everybody came in. And funny note, as this was directed by Richard Donner, you had the mother from the Goonies playing one of the executives for the network. And then you had Mama Fratelli playing a homeless person that showed up in this scene that I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You also have his cousin who I forget his name off the top of my head, but he plays the police captain in all the Lethal Weapon movies.
He plays the police captain in all the Lethal Weapon movies.
Yeah. And I'm trying to pull up his name because
you pulled that up because another interesting note, you see Brian Doyle Murray again, and I think Brian Doyle Murray has been featured on this show in all the movies. We had him in Caddyshack. We had him last week in Christmas Vacation. He played the boss, and we have him here in Scrooged as Frank's father when they go visit the past. It shouldn't really be a spoiler alert, as we mentioned, A Christmas Carol. Also funny to see another Murray in the film, in the scene where they're unwrapping the presents at his brother's house. The other guy that was there was another one of his brothers. Can't remember what his name is right now. Also featured in One Crazy Summer.
Oh, okay. Well, I missed that.
Apparently they have 9, like Brian Doyle Murray, Bill Murray, and this other guy are 3 of like 9 siblings.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it was fun to see them there. So, Greg, favorite line?
Man, it was such
Or
a
scene,
sharp
I'm sorry.
line. What's that?
Line or scene, I'm sorry.
No, yeah, it was such a sharp, like, great line where he sees the ghost, the first ghost that he sees, and he goes, "You're a hallucination brought on by alcohol. That's it. Russian vodka poisoned by Chernobyl." I lost it. I don't know why. It was just so, like, just spot on. Like, yeah, that's a great explanation. Well done.
I guarantee the script had to have read, "Oh, you're just a hallucination brought on by alcohol." But I guarantee he added in Russian vodka poisoned by Chernobyl. I guarantee it.
Steve Kahn was the actor I was referring to. He actually looks just like Richard Donner. So for a long time, I was like, "Why is Richard Donner in his own movie?" But so, sorry.
Yeah, no, you're Greg. That was it. Yeah. Russian vodka poisoned by Chernobyl. Love it.
All right, mine, and I don't know how this isn't an ad lib, but it is. I guess I'll have to do the setup. It's when he's in having the meeting with his boss, and they're having drinks, and there's the eyeball in his drink, and he sees the guy on fire. And when he goes and he pours the water on him, he's like, "Oh, I thought you were Richard Pryor."
Yes.
I just died.
I seriously, because with that scene, I was laughing so hard, and then I go, why? Like, there's no connection even, which makes it that much more brilliant, at least that I can see.
I wonder, just to make Ozzy happy, I wonder if that was a dig because Richard Donner didn't get to do Superman 3 and Richard Pryor's in Superman 3.
Whatever. Get out of here with your Superman 3
No.
garbage.
That's like putting over he wasn't happy about it. A joke at his expense. I'm just saying.
I doubt Richard Donner wanted to do Superman 3.
There's a whole thing. That's a whole nother show.
Okay, I'm excited for that. But no, I mean, and we listed 3 scenes with lines from this movie, but honestly, everything kept coming so rapidly and fit so smoothly. And the runtime on this film it doesn't seem as long, or rather, it goes by so quickly that it's over before you know it. The actual runtime on here is not
140?
available to me. I'm sorry,
140.
an hour and 40 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I'm in my head. I was thinking
Oh,
2 hours and 40 minutes. No, an hour and 40 minutes. That's about right for but it doesn't, it just goes by so quickly and you're always entertained. And there's some serious moments in there that, again, due to the talent of Bill Murray, you don't see, oh, this is just a comedy guy being serious. Like, no, he's being serious. Like Ebenezer Scrooge in Christmas Carol witnesses his own funeral. When that scene happens, it's like pretty like crazy for a second. But again, like with the setup and with what all great comedy, when it comes out of that, it's so hilarious to see like, I'm alive. Then you see Elliot Loudermilk there with the shotgun. Not for long. And then that whole exchange that they had, it just makes everything so great. So going into the rating, I really couldn't give it anything less than a 5, to be honest, just because of the amount of gags, the performances. I mean, because we've talked about Bill Murray, but everyone gives a pretty genuine performance in the movie, and it was just fun. Even the uncomfortable moments, like with a roller coaster, there's got to be ups and there's got to be downs. It's just a great movie. I really liked it, and I didn't make it a point to see this every year, but I'm definitely going to now. And I can't remember the last time it had to have been at least 8 years since the last time I'd seen it. But I'm glad I revisited it because I forgot how much I enjoyed it. So it has to be a 5 for me. I don't feel right saying anything less than that.
Look, I hear you. Like the jokes are fantastic. The timing's been great. As a story, it was a fantastic story. I do have a little baggage with that film because I remember watching it as a child, and it scared the bejesus out of me because of the death scenes. Brought back some bad memories. Like as an adult, it's fine. It's still dark. Yeah. I remember when we were going into watching this, I was like, I remember this film being scary. I was probably 6 when I last watched it. So, but it was a lot of fun. I didn't remember, again, 6, didn't remember Bobcat Goldthwait was in it. And so when I saw him at the beginning and he was like a lot skinnier than I remember him, and he wasn't crazy at first, and he didn't talk at first. And I was like, is that who I think it is? And then he opened his mouth. I was like, hot damn, this is going to be great. And then after that, it was just a fantastic ride. And I'm going to give it a 4.5, only being deducted for its past trauma.
Well, I had no past trauma because as we established, I was 12 when this came out. So I'm a 5, easy. And I want to just also call out, as you mentioned, some of the stuff being, emotional and stuff. Michael J. Pollard's Herman, the homeless guy. When I remember that scene messing with me the first time I saw it. So,
well, you really like that was I think that was the first time you saw Frank care for a stranger.
Yeah.
In the film. And so when you see him really caring for it, and it just, it hits you hard because he gives such a good performance. He's so talented, and it's unfortunate that he might get grouped with he's just a comedy actor. Like, I understand why there was a point when he's no longer doing comedies. Like there was a point like he gave them up, and I understand why. He wants to show what he can do. And man, just such a great film. So we got 2 5s and a 4.5. Definitely recommended by all. If you get a chance, you got to. And even if it's a little bit after Christmas, go for it anyway. Now, Todd, something I wanted to ask you, because you mentioned that you saw this in the theater. Now, at the end of the movie, there's some moments where Bill Murray is talking to the theater.
Yeah.
How did that play when you were watching? Was everybody just quiet and just watching? or
Yeah,
people.
pretty much. But I was a kid who went there at the first screening of the day, and oh shoot, this would have been November was when it was released. So I still would have been in school. So I probably went at like 3:34 when school was out. So it wasn't like a packed house.
Okay. All right. As I'm watching the scene where, he's telling, okay, you guys sing. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, trust me, watch the movie, you'll understand. But I just had a hard time thinking like, was there one theater that actually like 100% participation that jumped in both feet once? All this, either way, regardless, was still entertaining. But I was curious about that. What was it like to actually watch that in the theater, if anybody had? But your experience, not so promising. Yeah,
maybe if I would have saw the 8:00 showing,
maybe, or the midnight showing, if there was one.
I don't think they had that back then.
My
first midnight movie, and the first one I knew about, was Batman. Second one was Dick Tracy. So
Dick Tracy had a midnight movie?
Yeah, and you actually got a shirt on it. Like it had a movie ticket, and yeah, I don't have it anymore. Not like it would fit, but yeah, they gave you a shirt with that one. Batman didn't give us anything.
Well, yeah. They didn't need to.
Yeah. And just in case you're wondering, the nerds are still the same. They were not happy about Mr. Mom playing Batman.
Oh no, I remember that. That's another conversation for another day. Much not dissimilar to when John McClane was cast for Die Hard. He had just been doing moonlighting, and nobody thought he could be like a serious action dude. And then all of a sudden, he's in the greatest Christmas action movie of all time.
How did Ozzy manage to get that in 2 weeks in a row? Make sure it's some Die Hard reference. But Die Hard was just supposed to be Commando too. So remember that.
Don't.
It's true.
Don't. No.
Wait, Commando 2 or Suburban Commando 2?
No. It was supposed to be Commando.
Well, first off, because I was late to the party here. Greg, have you seen Commando?
No.
Okay, we'll carry this off because it's not a comedy, but we'll carry that. Now, in terms of what our comedy is next week, we're going to be back with a new episode, and we finished, since it's going to be out Christmas time. Christmas is this week. It's this Friday. Merry Christmas, everybody. And next week, it's going to be between New Year's, so we do have the film 200 Cigarettes, year 1999, suggested by Todd, starring Ben Affleck, Casey Affleck, and Dave Chappelle. We'll have a review on that. We'll have a review and discussion next week, as well as a new commercial that we'll stupidly discuss. Greg and Todd, anything else you'd like to say before we say goodnight?
Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, everyone.
Happy holidays. My apologies.
Yeah.
Happy Festivus. And Ozzy, next week, please do your hair.
You know what?
That's our Christmas wish.
That's your punishment, because I don't mention the Flesh Wound Features Patreon and all the other Flesh Wound Features show. You're punishing me by making comments about my hair. Okay, fine. I'll remind the lovely people out there. Other Flesh Wound Features show there's horror reviews that Todd, some other folks review, and then there's also a Patreon where you can get exclusive content. Now, once again, for Greg, Todd, I'm Ozzy. See you next week right here on Flesh Wound Farce.